So yeah, I'm out here on Black Rock Playa. This place has become synonymous with Burning Man. They're grading the desert, which I wasn't expecting. I'm glad they're doing it because it really needs it. It's really bumpy down there, whereas out here it is just smooth as glass. So, oops, found some moop. 1 second. Don't want to leave this stuff in the desert. But yeah, anyways, I think I'm gonna camp on the playa tonight. This is one of the, actually this is maybe the most beautiful morning sky I've ever seen. I feel weird talking right now because it's just so quiet here. It's amazing that this place is known to most people as the venue of like a really loud, obnoxious music festival. Because this desert is just, it's really something special. And I know a lot of people probably don't see the point in coming out here. They just see a big flat desert, but it's breathtaking. Okay, so I've spent the last couple of nights up here parked at the mouth of Little High Rock Canyon, and I am going to explore the canyon today. Yesterday was just windy and rainy and just kind of meh, and I'm really excited to explore this little canyon. The main like big High Rock Canyon is just 3 miles up the road here, but I'm not sure if I'm going to go up there because even the road getting here was a little more technical than I would have liked. It wasn't too bad, but there are lots of sharp rocks and it's just really remote here. So like a road like that wouldn't bother me if I was closer to a town, but knowing how expensive a recovery would be out here, I'm really trying to err far on the side of caution. If I had a dedicated 4x4 rig, this would be an awesome place to be because these roads just go on forever north of this area. And there's so many random roads to explore. It's really cool up here. And this is kind of the first time I wish I really had a more capable rig because I would love to spend some real time here exploring these hills in northern Nevada. It's truly like an overlander's paradise. This is a lot less fun than I thought it was going to be. That grassy area over there is just like a mud flat. So you're kind of forced up here on the side of the canyon, and it's all just loose, sharp rock. Some of it is kind of packed down into a path, but a lot of it is just really treacherous. So yeah, I'm gonna turn around and walk up the road a little bit and see if I could make it up to the big canyon. So at least the first mile or so of this road seems pretty chill, so I'm gonna give it a go. The one scary thing is that there are these big chunks of obsidian just randomly speckled around the desert. And yeah, they're really sharp, as you may know. I don't know, it's just kind of scary. I don't know if that's really a factor, but they look and feel really sharp. So it seems like they could pretty easily cut through a tire. All right, we made it, or well, we almost made it. The mouth of the canyon is over there. And yeah, the last quarter mile of the road is just muddy and rutted like this, and it gets even worse up here. So I decided to just walk it, but at the very least, this is gonna shave 6 miles off my round trip, so it's going to make it actually possible to explore the canyon. But yeah, you can see I turned around here in the dried up riverbed, and that is because I didn't like the look of this, but more importantly, I really didn't like the look of this. Now, 9 times out of 10, you'll be fine driving through something like that, and I probably could have made it through that no issue, but you never know. It's really easy to get high-centered, and especially because you can't see how deep the ruts are. It looks like it's pretty deeply rutted, actually, but you just don't know. So yeah, we're gonna try to make it to the post office cave and immigrant inscriptions, and it looks like the contours are pretty intense there, so I might not even go much further than that. It looks not very far, but this is a driving map. So that's 1 mile down there. So 2.5 miles in, 2.5 miles out, plus the extra quarter mile to my van. Well, I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting to see some guy, George, had written his name on the rock. Quite the cave. Definitely worry about stuff falling on my head in here though. Looks pretty chossy. Well, we're spending one more night at the little High Rock Hilton. I'm gonna make some quinoa tacos for dinner tonight, and we'll get out of here tomorrow. Yeah, so when I was coming in here, there was a ranger parked in the middle of the road blocking traffic, and he stopped me and he told me that they were doing horse wrangling down the road, and so the road was closed, and if I wanted to wait, I could get through. And I asked him how long, and he said it would probably be 30 minutes, so I said okay. And then I got to talking to the guy, and apparently they were using helicopters and all kinds of other crazy techniques to trap these wild horses. I really don't know like how any of that works. Like, presumably somebody owned those horses and they were taking them somewhere. But anyways, the ranger eventually let me through, and I drove past their operation, and they had to like open up a horse fence for me so that I could continue driving down the road. And it was right past that point that I encountered the first like obstacle that gave me a lot of pause. And especially knowing how much further I had to go to get to that high rock canyon, at that point I was like, yeah, I'm not really liking the look of this road. But I felt really uncomfortable turning around, and also it was kind of hard to, because they had just like a narrow gap in this fence, and I would have had to reverse through that and like back up right to their trailers to turn around. And I just felt awkward doing that, especially when they're trying to like presumably keep these wild horses calm. So I kind of like, I basically just gaslit myself. I was like, oh, maybe this is fine. Maybe I'll keep going. And it did get better for a little bit. And then I was like, okay, yeah, I can do this. And then it got muddy, and I was like, well, that's different, but that's fine. And I wound up all the way up here. And yeah, I really don't want to be up here right now in this van. I mean, thankfully, the damage to that cross member appears to be superficial. I don't think that's going to cause me any issues. I'll throw some paint on it when I get a chance, but it was definitely an ego check. And the big thing for me is like, I feel like I've been doing really well. When something feels unsafe or uncomfortable to me, I've had no problem turning around, and I've really been focusing on that because I don't want to die out here. I don't want to get in some really bad situation. And it was weird having that modifier of other people around, and like the desire to not be inconvenient kind of overrode my own sense of self-preservation, which is really crazy to think about. But yeah, that's definitely something to look out for in the future. And yeah, we're just always learning here. Today it was a cheap lesson, but if that rock hit my oil pan, it would have been an expensive lesson. So I'm glad we got by with the cheap lesson today, and yeah, we're gonna keep going. There's going to be a solar eclipse tomorrow, but today I need to pick up a package at an Amazon locker. And unfortunately, because we're in Nevada, most of my driving today is going to be on dirt roads because there's just not much else here. And by far the fastest way to get there is by taking a 60-mile dirt road. And yeah, I'm really not looking forward to it. This is going to allow us to get into a slightly better spot to view the solar eclipse, although the forecast isn't looking so great. It looks like it's going to be cloudy tomorrow morning when the eclipse happens, but I'm still going to get up for it and just see what I can see. Highway is extremely long, but I don't think it has anything on these desert roads in terms of bumpiness. The washboard just gets so bad, and then there are these really sharp rocks, again, like way sharper than anything I saw in the Dempster, just jutting out of the ground. You really have to be on point out here. You really have to be paying attention because these roads are just really intense. Well, that was cool. There's something really weird about the quality of the light right now. I can see it looking in my phone. It's just, man, it seems like I've got the exposure settings messed up or something. Did, okay. But yeah, that was really cool. It's kind of dumb, the only thing I could think of. Like, you kind of hope to have some transformative experience with something like this, but I just was thinking about those ring lights that vloggers use and how the sun and the moon together were functioning as like the world's biggest ring light. It's still pretty bright. I looked at it. I know you're not supposed to, but I looked at it at its peak, and yeah, it was blinding. I had to look away immediately. It makes me really want to see the total solar eclipse next year. And in case you're wondering what I used as a solar filter, it's literally just one eyepiece from these glasses. It worked really well, actually. At least on the viewfinder, the footage looked really cool. What was I saying earlier about knowing when to turn around? I accidentally parked on the wrong side of the mountain yesterday, and trying to get up there to Adam Peak. Man, I'm really striking out today. I think I might be further from Adam Peak on this side of the mountain than I was parked yesterday. And the other thing is, last night I was on private property, and so I technically wasn't supposed to be there. And tonight, yeah, I can't quite get in far enough to be on BLM. I'm on what's called checkerboard land, which is something that I don't understand. So I'm on like a little parcel of land that is surrounded on all four sides by BLM land. And they did it this way to encourage railroads to be built. And that feels like a half explanation to me. So if you understand why land is checkerboarded out here in Nevada, let me know, because I don't get it. If I had just a little bit more ground clearance, I could drive up this road, but I don't think I want to do this. Well, I'm definitely getting a bit of a late start today. If I average 2 miles per hour, I will be back at the van right as the sun is setting, and I think I can do a little bit better than that. At least I'm hoping I can. Most of my distance is just going to be on this slight uphill, so I should be able to move pretty quickly on this road, and then yeah, hopefully the route finding is pretty straightforward. And if I have to walk down this road in the dark, it's not a big deal. I have a headlamp and I'm not gonna get mauled by a bear or something, so obviously I'll have to keep an extra close eye out for snakes and scorpions, but I'm really not too worried about walking in the dark a little bit. What a cozy little home. I loved the view from the kitchen. Not really sure which way to go. That's the peak right there, but I really don't want to have to schwack through those aspens. Although that ridgeline looks really nice, whereas over here it just looks like it's really thick sagebrush. Changed my mind. Looked behind me and that looks relatively sagebrush free. Might go up and down a little bit, but I think it'll get us there. Well, change of plans yet again. I found a trail. I think I'm going to follow the trail. I'm worried about that ridgeline up there. I feel like I won't be able to get around that. Well, the trail led to these salt licks, so that was a cow trail. Well, that's the peak over there, less than a half mile, but it's just not in the cards today. That ridgeline looks gnarly, and it's time for me to turn around. Goodbye.